Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. So today we're going to dive into a really amazing, true story from our very own history. It's all about a brave young boy who grew up to be a huge hero. He stood up to protect his village, his forest, and all his people. It's a tale of total courage and honestly, the magic of what happens when we all stand together. But, before we really get into it, I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine waking up one bright morning and finding out that total strangers have just walked into your village. And these strangers, they want to take away your playground, the big shady trees you climb, and the streams you share with your friends. What would you do? How would you protect the places you love the most? Keep that question right in the back of your mind as we travel back in time.
Part 1. The village family and sharing the land.
So, a really long time ago, the Munda people lived in the super green forests of Chota Nagpur, and they lived like one giant happy family. They had this beautiful rule, right? It was called the Kuntakati system. Basically, this meant the land didn't belong to just one single person. No way. It belonged to absolutely everyone. Grandparents, parents, kids, everyone took care of the forest together, and in return, the forest gave them all the food and shelter they needed. It was a really perfect team.
Part 2. The unfair rules. Sadly, this awesome, peaceful life got completely turned upside down. Powerful rulers from far away showed up in the forest. They brought in outsiders to just take over the land. The villagers called these outsiders Dikus. And guess what? The Dikus didn't want to share at all. They wanted the land completely for themselves, which, as you can imagine, made the villagers super sad and really confused. Life changed almost overnight. Instead of everyone sharing the forest happily like before, the villagers were suddenly forced into this really harsh rule called Begar. Now, Begar meant they had to do backbreaking work for the Dikus all day long, out in the boiling hot sun, without getting paid a single rupee. Nothing. It was literally so unfair.
Part 3. Birsa the healer.
Right when the villagers were feeling totally helpless, this young man named Birsa Munda stepped forward. He was incredibly kind, and he actually helped heal people when they were sick. Because of his big, caring heart, everyone just loved him. They even started calling him Darthi Abba, which means the father of the earth. He promised his people that if they just stayed strong, they were going to get their home back.
But Birsa knew that to be strong, they had to start by being really good to each other. He told them to keep their villages super clean, to give up bad habits, and most importantly, to just love one another. They would all gather under the cool shade of this massive neem tree to pray together. By doing this, they were building a super strong, united family once again.
Part 4. The Great Tumult.
As Birsa's message spread from village to village, the people grew really brave. On Christmas Eve in 1899, Birsa announced the Ogalan. Now, Ogalan is a word that means a great noise or a massive uprising. It was this incredibly brave plan where all the villagers decided to stand together as one giant team to drive away those unfair Dikus and finally get their beautiful forest back. And to show absolutely everyone what they were fighting for, they raised a bright white flag super high into the sky. Now, usually a white flag might mean giving up, right? But not here. For them, it was a beautiful symbol of peace, fairness, and a brand new start.
Now, the unfair rulers had some pretty scary weapons, but Birsa told his people something amazing. He said, "The guns and the bullets of our enemies will turn to water." What he meant was, he wanted them to know that if they were completely fearless and stood together, their strong bond would act like a shield. Nothing could truly break them.
Part 5. Standing Together. You see, the Ogalan wasn't just about leaders giving orders. It was about everyday people, moms, dads, and even children being incredibly brave. They would gather in these secret night meetings around warm, crackling fires to make their plans. When trouble actually came to their doorsteps, whole families would literally link arms to protect their houses. And to keep their spirits up, they sang these joyous, powerful songs together. Of course, standing up to powerful rulers is really hard. And yeah, there were some very sad times. At a place called Sal Rakab Hill, many brave villagers got hurt. But you know what? They didn't let that sadness break them. They named that hill Tapo Bolparu, which means the Hill of Remembrance. They sang beautiful songs to remember their friends who fought, which honestly just made their hearts even stronger.
Part 6. A Lasting Legacy.
Eventually, the rulers did capture Birsa Munda, and he very sadly passed away in jail in the year 1900. But His brave spirit, that lived on for sure. Because the villagers totally refused to give up, the government finally realized, okay, we have to respect this village family. So in 1908, they passed a really important new law to protect tribal lands.
This new law was a massive victory for the village. Because of it, outsiders couldn't just come in and take the land anymore. That terrible forced labor, the working all day without getting paid, that was finally stopped forever. But the absolute best part, the deep, beautiful bond between the Munda people and their forest was saved. Families could finally share their home once again, just like they used to.
So Birsa's story shows us that true power, it doesn't actually come from just being the biggest or the strongest person in the room. True power comes from teamwork, loving your community, and standing up for what is right. So I'm going to leave you with this question today. How will you use your voice to protect the people and the places that you love? Think about how you can be a brave hero in your very own villager school. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Remember to keep learning, keep sharing, and always keep standing together.